Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today we will dive into the turnaround for The Thrill Is Gone. Now, this classic minor blues tune is probably one of the most recognizable of the genre. Written by Roy Hawkins and Rick Darnell in 1951, arguably made most famous by B.B. King's recording in 1969. The Thrill Is Gone remains sort of like the staple of the minor 12-bar blues form. Now, while the lyrics and the melody certainly make this song memorable, it's the chord structure, and specifically the two chords in the turnaround, that give this song sort of a mysterious, unique vibe. You're watching this video because you're trying to figure out how this works. You're looking for a little insight into how the guitar actually functions. This is what I do all the time. I do it in my online guitar academy called The Studio. The Studio is an online platform that combines community features with educational content in one place. So you can learn, hold yourself accountable, get yourself challenged, and maybe make a few friends on the way. Now, I know an online guitar academy might not be for everybody, but I offer a 7-day free trial, so you can head on in there if you're interested, curious about it, take a look. There's a ton of free educational content in there, so you can learn a lot in 7 days. If you don't like what you see, it's not for you, I totally get it, but if you do stick around, I look forward to working with you. The turnaround for The Thrill Is Gone is going to be our focus for today. We're going to dive in and see what makes it so special. Why is it different than other blues turnarounds? And what kind of opportunities do we have with those unique chords to color them a little bit, add a little bit of spice to them, and capitalize on them as rhythm guitarists and also as soloists? Let's zoom in and see what's up. Okay, so I'm going to be playing over a backing track that features the core feel of The Thrill Is Gone, but it's just the turnaround repeated over and over again. So we can focus on that without waiting for the whole 12 bars to go by, right? We're just going to focus on this turnaround. We're in the key of B minor. This is the key that B.B. King recorded the song in. Our 4 chord in this key is E minor. Right, so that's the sort of the backbone of our 12 bars. Now, when we get to the turnaround, there's some really cool choices we can make. The original song is written with a flat 6, and I'll explain this in a minute, G major to F sharp major, back to the B minor. That's our turnaround. These are the chords from the turnaround. This flat 6 is sort of unique. The 5 chord is pretty much how we always get back to the 1, but it gives us these 2 major chords a half step apart, which is really, really cool. There's a lot of opportunity here. Now, over the years, many people have covered this song. I've played it in bands for decades, and each time I play it, the band takes a lot of liberties with these 2 chords because they're so sort of unusual and moody, we can alter them. We can't really change them from major. They're all going to be major chords, but we can add different notes to sort of accent them and really add some cool color to them. Okay, so I'm going to play these different chord choices, and after that I'm going to solo over them and try to target the notes that are in those chords to really hammer home these alterations. The first one I'm going to do is just these as major chords, right? Now, one more quick theory thing. These 2 major chords, whenever you see 2 major chords a half step apart, and specifically the flat 6 moving to the 5, we are really hearing the key of B harmonic minor. But that's sort of too exotic for the whole song. We're just using that little taste of it in these 2 bars of the turnaround. So I'm just going to do the major chords first. And here's the backing track. It's just the turnaround over and over again. Here's our G, here's our F sharp, just the chords. Here's our G. F sharp, back to the minor. One more time. Now I'm going to solo over it. Using this G and this F sharp. Do that same thing again. I'm going to try these triads down here. Check this out. Just simply outlining those triads brings about this really cool sound, right? We're getting the vibe from this harmonic minor turnaround. G major to F sharp major. Okay, the recorded version, in other words, B.B. King's version from 1969, alters these chords a little bit by using G major 7. That's pretty cool. And on the F sharp, a dominant chord. Now these both have major thirds. Like I said, we can't really change these into minor chords, but we can alter them as major chords. This first alteration is G major 7 to F sharp 7. Now here are these target notes. So instead of the G major, we're using that major 7. And for the F sharp 7, that's the note that changes. So our two target notes are back to the B minor. So I'm going to play the chords first, and then I'll solo over it. You'll see that this subtle change really brings a new level of interest to these chords. There's the G, here's the F sharp, here's the B minor. So just the chords first. Same thing. Now I'll play a solo and I'll outline those notes. Here we go again. I'm going to bend up into that 7 here. Another new flavor by adding these 7s. We're sort of taking it up a notch, right? We're not just playing the pentatonic scale, but we're taking advantage of these notes to really bring around that flavor, right? Okay, the next interpretation, and I've seen this in many, many bands before. We change both of these chords, the G chord and the F7 chord, into dominant chords. So G7, that's some spice, and the F sharp 7, which is the same thing we used last time, but we're changing this G chord now into a dominant chord. Right? And so our target notes are now this. Woo! Listen to that over the G. All right, let's give it a shot. I'm going to do the chords first, G7 to F sharp 7, and then I'll play a solo over these and outline those flat 7s for each one of the chords. Here we go. Just chords first. One more time, just the chords. Now I'll solo and outline those flat 7s. do that one more time. Listen to this bend up to the flat 5, which is the flat 7 of the G. Relaxing it. Very, very cool, right? So we're finding that we're just altering these notes inside those major chords and getting some cool, interesting sounds. Another one that I've seen a lot is introducing the 9. Now the 9 is basically the 2 in relation to the tonic of the chord. Let me just show you these voicings. We're changing the G into a G9 chord. This is basically just a G7, but it has an A on top. Down to the F sharp, what we're going to do is leave the A on top. And that's F sharp 7, sharp 9. This is sort of like your Jimi Hendrix chord. Right? So this note stays on top the whole time. All right, so chords first, and then I'll outline that A note over both of them. Here we go, just the chords. Just the chords. And I'm going to outline the A over these. It's a little more subtle, that 9, turning into the sharp 9. More time. I'm going to do it one more time. Right? Bringing that 9 out is a little more subtle, right? Here it is over the G, 9, and then sharp 9 over the F sharp. A little bit of a different sound. Final alteration is changing the G into a G13. Now if you don't know this chord, it's basically your G bar chord turned into a 7th chord and then add this E on top. You get this great chord. And for the F sharp chord, we're going to play F sharp altered. This is basically an F sharp dominant chord with a sharp 5. Which happens to be a D note. This is a really cool change. So E over the G is our target note, and D over the F sharp is our target note. The basic sound of those target notes. All right, chords first, and then I'll play a solo and outline that E over the G and the D over the F sharp chord. Chords first. G13 to F sharp altered. Listen to this. Chords one more time. Targeting the E over the G. Right inside the pentatonic scale, right? But they outline those more advanced notes. Listen to this. Same notes, right? I'm targeting this E, but I'm bending up a whole step below. So altering these chords in these ways gives us these extra little notes, something that we can target that adds a little bit of interest to these notes, right? To these already interesting chords, we're just putting a little more flavor on the top. So there's a lot to unpack in that turnaround, right? Those chords come from B harmonic minor, right? All of that stuff is not the point. The real takeaway is that we have an opportunity as guitar players to take advantage, to add some color and some unique sounds to those two chords, both as rhythm guitar players and as soloists. And the coolest part is that the band or the backing track doesn't actually have to do it. You can take care of this yourself. You just grab these voicings, look for those target notes, and you can outline these colors and these unique sounds yourself. Tabs for this lesson are available on my Patreon page. That's always linked in the description below. Head on over there if you want to grab them. I hope you found this interesting. I hope it gives you something to think about and something new to play over this classic blues tune. As always, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.